Hello everybody, this section is called I Tell You No Lie, GI Part 2, and it's essentially a bunch of exposition concerning Vaught's past during the Vietnam and post-Vietnam era. We also get to see a bit more of the relationship between Starlight and A-Train, so let's begin. We start with the legend returning from taking a shit while Huey is busy reading the legend's past work, a comic book called The Nukester. Clever. Huey comments that he cannot believe the legend used to write this stuff. The legend responds, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to just write cocksuckers. The legend goes on to explain that after Vietnam, Vought is up big time, which in turn causes the other corporations, Vaught's competitors, to go after them, and they decide to go after a man named Jono Vogelbaum. Vought pulled this man out of Germany in the 30s, and shortly after, his family was killed in the camps. He is the one who invented Compound V. He didn't want to breed soups for the Nazis, so he contacted Vought and has worked for them ever since. Sometime later, Jonah was kidnapped by another corporation, and they attempted to force him to breed soups for them, but Jonah instead slit his fucking wrists. The legend explains his reasoning for this is because he finally opened his eyes and saw what he started, saw where it was gonna go. What this does is leave the other guys nowhere, and Vought stymied. Their idea was to come up with more like the 7, but cheaper than the goddamn national deficit. Forget it, they can do cheaper, but that has its price if you know what I mean. We see a visual of the post-Jonah created soups. Crap soups, Huey states. Ain't they all, the legend replies. He further explains that Vaught's opposition backs off fast after what happened to Jonah, as nobody wants the Deep showing up at their door for payback. We turn back to Butcher and Homelander's meeting on the roof. Homelander states, I killed them, whoever they are, as he pushes to discover why Butcher hates him so much. I mean, I must have. No one does the things you've done for anything less. The Homelander continues to guess the cause of Butcher's hatred and who he must have hurt, and he eventually guesses correctly. Wife? Back to Huey and the legend. The legend asks what it is soups do, apart from liquor and whores and narcotics, apart from a life Caligula would have envied. What do the bastards actually do? The legend answers his own question and advises that they have their own comic books starring them, because it means money and protection. The legend further exclaims that creating these comics was his job when he worked for Vought. What I did was make those fucking cocksuckers look good. I gave folks soups like they wanted soups to be, gave them the adventure and romance that lived up to the image. No one wants their heroes sleazy and fucked up, so you feed them a dream, and they'll buy the t-shirts and watch the TV shows, which is where the real money is, by the way, and the last thing they'll do is try looking any further. The legend explains that one of his jobs was to explain away the bad shit the soups got caught up in. Bar fights, black eyes, busted teeth, some asshole getting photographed with a cock in his mouth, but Homelander changed all that. One of the things Vought used Homelander for was publicity, where he would hold up a bridge scheduled for demolition, but also for taking out rogue soups. The dumb few who didn't see what a sweet thing they had going for them. It was up to the legend to find an angle on shit like that. But with Vought owning a TV channel and a couple of newspapers, reality could get kind of fuzzy. Usually, you'd have a little bit of wiggle room. Let's say the big man's seen in Idaho, near where some fruitcake went postal. Okay, send him to Idaho. Just don't show him doing what he did when he was there. What works for him works just as well for the rest of them. The comics take off, they take off, the money rolls in. Next up for Vought is the Holy Grail, defense contracts, and it's starting to look like nothing can stop him. We turn to Starlight and A-Train, finishing cleaning up Lamplighter's cell. Starlight takes a shot at A-Train. I noticed how whining about it the whole time really helped to speed things up. While A-Train can only muster, fuck you. But then, you trying to tell me you enjoyed that any more than I did? Cleaning up some retarded zombies shit? Jesus, you really do think you're something special. You're too good for me? Is that it, Starlight? Too good to talk to me? Yeah, you know I can see how you would think that. After all, you're the one who's been down on her knees with 3 of the team's dicks in her mouth. I'm not denying it. I don't think I'm better than you, A-Train, but you've never been anything but completely horrible to me, so you'll forgive me if I don't spend any more time around you than I have to. Cry me a fucking river. I took my share of shit when I first got here. I don't see why you should be any different. Look, if this is about the needle dick thing, you know the real reason you're in the 7, don't you? For fun, we wanted to amuse ourselves. So we took a look at all the wannabe teams, and we said who's the most goody two-shoes virgin stuck-up little twat who'd do anything to get ahead, who'd look best with a load of cum all over her stupid whore face. And lo and fucking hold. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. because it's the only way someone like you could ever get his hands on someone like me. Back to Huey and the Legend. The Legend explains that the plan the other corporations enact to stop Vought is to buy up Congress, the presidents, and VPs. It's the military-industrial complex versus the very goddamn notion of superhuman defense, and these motherfuckers ain't playing games. Hell, they know what's at stake. They lose a single contract to Vought, the world gets to see how an anti-missile system stacks up against heat vision, and that one don't pan out the way you hope it will. There's only one outfit in town can supply the product, and you ain't them. Every yahoo from Singapore to Saudi's gonna want his own team of soups. Guess what? That's gonna do to your profits for the quarter. The Legend explains that against the other corporations, Vought had no chance of getting their soups into national defense. There was even a national poll where only 5% of the public said they would vote for that. Therefore, Vought decided to play the long game, and for now, only to make money off the soups as celebrities. Then take that money and invest it wisely. Buy influence, buy people, year by year, inch by inch, they get closer to where they want to be. And all of a sudden, it's the year 2000, and an opposition have found the perfect candidate for November. Dakota Bob Schaefer, old school Republican, Halliburton man, and hard and cold as the Badlands themselves. But Vought have the perfect man too. They finally got all their ducks in a row, every favor they can call in, all the pressure they can bring to bear, 20 years worth, and it's enough. Ex-CEO Victor K. Newman joins Bob on the Republican ticket. Neocon, family's been with the company since the days of VAC, mine like an empty bucket, just waiting to be filled, and you can bet it will be. Huey inquires, they wanted an idiot? The Legend replies, point ain't smarts, kid. It's obedience. First place they looked was the Bush family, but their latest fortunate son had just managed to take his own head off with a chainsaw. Anyhow, Vought had finally done it. Got one of their own on the inside, a pro-soup candidate in a goddamn presidential election. Back to Butcher and Homelander, still on the roof. Homelander drones on, I've no idea when or how I did this. Someone standing in the wrong place when large objects were being flung through the air? Perhaps I don't particularly care, but it's quite incredible that you should take a simple grudge as far as you have. So much upheaval, so much blood yet to be shed. Then again, perhaps it's not all that remarkable now that I stop and think about it. Such incredible ire over so little, because you're not really a man for grand causes, are you? No, I think we can both agree you're made of baser stuff. And then Butcher chimes in, know what? While you've been listening to me heartbeat and sniffing me sweat and watching every one of me responses banging on and fucking on like the clever bastard you think you are, you know what old Terror's been doing while you've been wanking off to the sound of your own voice? And then we witness Butcher's dog, Terror, taking a piss on Homelander's leg. Homelander's taken aback. It nearly fries the fucker. Butcher stops him. You harm one hair on his head, and it starts now. Right this second. No fucking about. Now. Homelander responds, over a dog? Butcher responds, over my dog, hot or cold. You're insane. If this is how you want it, that's okay by us. As of this moment, you can start doing your worst. But I can hear your heartbeat. I can smell your sweat. And I can tell you here and now, you truly are out of your... Butcher cuts him off. Fuck off, cunt. Grabs Terror and off he goes. Back to Huey and the Legend again. The Legend continues his story. Nothing much happens for the first 8 months of the Schaefer-Newman administration. Then comes September. Can you tell me what happens in September, kid? Huey chimes in. They crash a plane into the Brooklyn Bridge, kill about 1,000 people. Next thing you know, we're invading Pakistan. The Legend asks, who crashes it? Huey replies, terrorists, for fuck's sake. The Legend replies, the terrorists don't crash shit into shit. They board the flight at Boston Logan, seize control right after takeoff. Plan is to fly the thing into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. They don't give a fuck about the Brooklyn Bridge. There's others headed for the second tower and the Pentagon. But Dakota Bob's been getting warnings from the CIA all summer. He orders them shot down and the Air Force does its thing. Then the fighters are told to back off, no goddamn reason given. The last plane's over Providence when it's intercepted. And that's when the fucking trouble begins. And that brings us to the end of this issue. Stay tuned for more.